G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for a quick video all about GDStash and how it can help you to create unrealistic onions. Don't worry about the character on the screen, we'll get to him shortly. For those of you who don't know, GDStash, or Grim Dawn Stash, this program right here, is a program you can download that will allow you to, among other things, create a database, which is what this is all about, that will allow you to transfer all of the loot you've dropped while playing the game into a database. It's effectively an infinite stash mod, but it's kind of a bit more than that because over here on the fourth tab, there is a character editor. This will allow you to edit all of your character's stats, all of their attribute points, their faction reputation, and if you load a character in here, it will also allow you to edit the levels of the devotions as well. And then also on tab number 3, the crafting tab, you can just straight up print whatever items you want and place them into your stash. So if, for example, I come in here, I select axe, and then I type in here Korba. It does look like this is not showing on your screen, but just trust me, there's a search window here, and I just search for Korba's axes. I can take Korba's decapitator here, I can just place them into stash tab number 1, and you know what? I'm going to make a pretty pattern here, and then kind of mess it up at the bottom. And we'll save that, and then I will show you in-game that these are now in the stash on tab number 1. So items created this way, i.e. if you don't put any number in the seed here, have a random seed. And that means it's not being printed with all of the stats maxed out. So common practice is to print dozens of the item and search through them to find the one with the best rolls for the stats that you care about. And that is how today's onion was created. So, this is Korba. Now, let me just exit and refresh the stash. Make sure it actually works. I don't really use this program very often, so if this deletes the character or whatever, that's user error. Anyhow, we should have here on tab 1, yep, there's our pretty Korba axes. So yeah, this is Korba. This is the winner of position number 1, the top position on the recent top 20 builds list. And before we do get into this too much, I want to state for the record that the people who put that list together did indeed put a lot of hours of testing into those builds. And the builds they came up with are all very, very good, and you will have a good time with them no matter how you get to the final build. As long as you don't, do something silly like replace items with conversions and stuff like that. As long as you follow the Grim Tools link that's in that thread, you should be pretty happy with the results. So I don't really agree with their methodology, but it's their list, and I can at least respect the effort, even if I maybe disagree with a few of the details. So the builds are all very good. You'll have a good time with them. Go ahead and give them a shot. But we're not here to talk about the list and how it's made. We're here to talk about how Grim Dawn Stash can help you to create unrealistically powerful builds when compared to what the average Joe is going to get by making the character the old-fashioned way by just playing the game. So this is Korba. This is exactly how the character was left in the save file that you can download from the forum thread. I haven't moved any of the skills here. I haven't gone and done any Shattered Realm or even ran outside and punched something. I haven't dumped the mess of an inventory, no matter how much I'm twitching to do it. This is exactly how it was when I downloaded the file and just logged into the character. So let's have a quick look at a few of the items this character has got. I'm not going to go through every item, but just to give you a general idea of the sort of thing I'm going to be talking about. So let's start off with the decapitator. This item has a max roll on the flat damage, a high percentage cold roll, it's 1% off maximum on the attack speed, and honestly, the rest of those stats don't really matter. The health is kind of mid from memory, and the conversion literally doesn't matter. If we scroll down here to the 4-set bonus on Korba's Fury there, you have 100% physical converted to cold when using Savagery, and we're using Savagery. So all of that physical is converted to cold, and so the 13% that could have been up to 18% on the Fizz to cold conversion doesn't matter. The bleeding damage also, we're not scaling that, so that doesn't really matter either. If we jump over here to Corba's Frenzy, we have above average roll on the flat cold. We have a high percentage on the cold percentage, and the attack speed roll is maxed out. If we go over to the helmet, the flat cold damage is maxed, 9 is as high as it gets. The percentage cold damage is 1% off maximum, that goes up to 103%, and the physical resistance is the max roll. The physique is 1 off maximum as well. The health roll is mid, the frostburn percentage is kind of mid as well, but the important rolls there are all maxed out. Over here on Corba's Furs, the chest, the cold damage percentage, the top line there, that's maxed out. The frostburn is 7% off of max, that's a very high roll. Physical resistance is maxed out. The physique, I think, goes to 31. Feel free to check all of these items in Grim Tools just to verify that I'm not making this up. What do we got here? Alchemist Touch of Dread. So the attack roll, or the attack speed roll, is maxed out. The offensive ability is maxed out. The frostburn damage, I think that's a max roll as well, and the cold damage percentage is quite high as well. The flat cold damage is kind of mid. I guess when you're trying for maxing offensive and total speed, and you get something with max percentage cold damage, and this cold damage is just kind of okay, you take it. You stop rolling there, and that's kind of good enough. On the Alchemist's Anguish ring here, the attack speed roll is maxed. Percentage cold and frostburn is very high rolls. You have good roll on OA, that's 60 to 90 from memory. Again, check these numbers in Grim Tools. Don't just take my word for it. Once more, the flat cold damage on that ring is kind of mid. It's, I think, from memory, that goes up to 17, so it's a little bit above average, but it's not amazing. If we look at the mythical Childred Mantle here, we have a max roll on the flat cold damage. We are 3% off the max roll on the cold damage percentage. The offensive ability is a maximum roll. The freeze resist is maxed out. The stun resist is only 4% off of a maximum roll. The only thing really noteworthy here is that the health roll there is kind of mid. And then the last item I'm going to point out here is the gloves, the mythical Chilling Grip of Hagarad. The attack speed is 1% off max roll. Frostburn percentage is maxed out. 4% off max roll on the cold damage percentage. The piercing to cold damage there is maxed out, and it's quite a high roll on the attack, the health there. So all of these items are pretty good. None of them have completely maxed out rolls, but the important rolls there are pretty good. So, let's go ahead and chuck Johnny up here. This is Yesent. Now, this is a character that I also used GDStashed to create, and he is a carbon copy of Corba with identical items, augments, components, attributes, and skills. Except I did something weird with Yesent. I did something that almost nobody does. While the seed for maximum rolls on everything for item generation isn't known, the seed for minimum rolls is. So every item that Yesent here is wearing has minimum rolls on absolutely everything. So I'm going to show you the difference between the minimum numbers on Yesent and then they're not really maximum on everything, but we'll call them very high numbers that we use to showcase good old Corba here. If you make your own character legitimately, your build's going to fall somewhere in the middle of these two examples. So let's go ahead and look at, firstly, this picture here with, where are we? We're down here. This picture of Yesent, that's savagery damage. All of these pictures were taken with Pneumatic Burst active, but Pneumatic Burst here, as you can see, is, well, can you see it? Let me have a look at the actual screen here. You can't see it. The stats on Pneumatic Burst here, they basically just give you a heal, they increase your piercing damage, which we don't care about, and they give you 110 offensive ability and 14% total speed. So this was active when I took the pictures for Yesent. Let's go over here to tab number 2, and we'll look at this savagery damage breakdown and compare it to Yesent. So Yesent's savagery numbers there. Let's actually just scroll over a little bit so we can see it a bit better. Where are we? On the fly editing, not a good idea. Anyway, there we go. Okay. So we've got 37 to 56k cold damage, and the actual number I wrote down here somewhere. Nope, it's gone. All right, we'll just compare it. That's fine. All right, so here is Korba's number, and we have 45 to 66k damage, which, you know, you're looking at that, and it's not that big of a difference, right? It's only, what, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 damage, something like that. Not a big deal. It gets to be quite a big deal. So there's a decent difference there, and let's go ahead and look at some other numbers as well. Now, go ahead and refresh that. The OA numbers over here, offensive ability, this is against Kalagadra, and you've got a 90% chance to hit Kalagadra with Korba here. I didn't show it, I don't have it shown on the picture there for Yesent, but Yesent is 80%. Which again doesn't sound like a big deal, it's only 10% less. But when you think of it in terms of how many misses you get, it's double. Yesent is going to miss Kalagadra twice as often as Korba does. So that is kind of a big deal. Granted, if you're hitting weaker things, if you're hitting things with less defensive ability, the difference is not going to be as large, but it's going to be somewhere around about in the neighborhood of slightly less than double the amount of misses until they get to the point where you just hit everything. So defensive ability, again, not a big deal here. This one actually was 78% on Korba, and then on Yesent, it's something like 78.6 or something like that. There's half a percentage difference there. This one's not a big deal. The damage per second number, though, this one is a bit of a big deal. So on Korba here, we have 191,000 or 190,983 versus the same number over there on Yesent, which you can see at the bottom of the screen, is 147,101. Now, depending on how you want to do the maths here, you can either say that Yesent is about 25% less damage or less DPS than Korba, but I'm going to look at it the other way and say that Korba is doing 30% more damage, more DPS than Yesent. However, if you look at the bottom line there, actually you can't see the bottom line, let me just turn this off for a second. On the DPS pop-up there, the last sentence says, does not factor in enemy defenses. So actually, the damage per second here, granted, against Kalagadra, the damage per second here is actually 171,885. And Yesent's is scaled down to 117,680 DPS, which is now 46% more DPS, which is almost half again as much. Now that's suddenly a big deal. But wait, it gets bigger, because Savagery, if we look at Savagery here, has 9 charges, and on the final charge, you get 120% bonus to pretty much everything, which means that the difference in damage is now 55.2% more damage when you're playing the Korba Trickster with very high rolls, as compared to Yesent. So we're looking at almost, well, more than half again the amount of damage. And this character survives based on lifesteal. Now, if we go down here, you'll see the actual lifesteal percentage is 6%. And Yesent's lifesteal percentage is 4%. And that doesn't sound like much because the difference here is not very much. It's a 2% difference. And then if we look at, where are we? On Korba's Decapitator here, you get 10% of the proc damage leached. Actually, it's 6%. There we go. Must have been a few changes since I wrote the script. But 6% on each of the weapons, 10% chance to attack. This is a nice thing, but it's not that big. The majority of the sustain on this comes from the 4-set bonus there, which is 10% of attack damage converted to health on Savagery. So 10% of a big number, unsurprisingly, is going to be much bigger than 10% of a small number. So Yesent is going to struggle surviving against things that Korba here will survive quite nicely against. So big difference in damage, decent difference in survivability as well. Let's see what else I took pictures of here. The resistances as well on Yesent, granted they are all still maxed, but they are well into the range of danger, so they can be uncapped on Yesent, whereas with Korba here, Chaos is at 29%, so I believe there's some things that will uncap that by 1%. Aether over here, 27, so that can get to 77%. Don't do maths while you're recording, kids. It's not a good idea. Vitality is potentially uncappable by 1%. Pierce and bleed, pretty much nothing. Shreds. Poison and acid, very slightly uncappable. And then if we go to the elementals, these are all well over cap unless you're fighting Mogdrogan, and even then I think you're probably still safe. So these resistances are fine. If we jump on over to Yesent though, we'll have a look, and because all of the rolls on this is minimum, so that 23% elemental resist, that's as low as it gets on everything. We're looking at, let's go ahead and turn this on just to make it fair. We're looking at 16% chaos damage, which means if it gets shredded, you're going to be 14% under the cap, and you're looking at 66% chaos resistance, and suddenly you're taking almost twice as much chaos damage as Korba was. Same with Aether, you're going to be 21% under the cap here, so you're looking at 59%, which is well above double the amount of Aether damage if shredded. Vitality is about 50% more damage taken. On the poison and acid, you're looking at, again, about 50, maybe 60% more damage taken. And the elemental is actually still fine. So there we go. That's kind of the numbers. And how it feels in-game, I've done SR90 on the other character. Let's go ahead and do a Shattered Realm run here. Now, I'll just go and chuck a Waystone in the bank here, just so Yesent can do it. And I'm going to do it on Yesent because, where are they? I know there's Waystones in here somewhere. Here we go. Chuck that in. There we go. I know Korba can do Shattered Realm 90 because I've done it previously, so I'm not going to show that, but let's go ahead and do it on Yesent. So this is going to be Shattered Realm 90 with every roll set to the minimum. And it shouldn't take more than another couple of minutes, surely. I'm kind of expecting to die in the first chunk, but here we go. Waystone, offer an Eternal. Let's go straight to 90. No warm-up. Let's get into it. Alright, now I'm obviously not as good a pilot as the creators of this build. Shout out to those guys. Definitely better players than me. However, you can see the health is kind of jumping around. Now, another part of the defenses of this build is going to be all of the cold procs. For example, from the shoulders, if you get hit, you're going to have everything around you kind of freeze. So we can still do it, but this is not comfortable. At least not for me. I'm used to playing in hardcore, so these guys definitely not good. And when this character does eventually die, because I'm pretty sure it will, in spite of actually being able to do Shattered Realm 40, Shattered Realm 90, the health is getting a little bit low. But we are getting through it. Maybe I will show the other one as well. Now, like I said, I'm not as good at piloting this character, but case in point, no Blade Spirits, and no Tornadoes. So here we go. That's going to be a little bit better. The damage is picking up. And suddenly this is getting a decent bit easier to kill things because they're dying in 1 or 2 hits now. Here we go. Spell Dracus, the Arcane. Got a few big boys here. Got 2 Arcanes actually. There we go. And we're getting on to... Whoop, nope, we're dead. Okay. So that was with Yesent. Now, granted, there was a decent number of heroes there, but let's go ahead and chuck Korba in there. We'll do him at the same... we'll do the same Shattered Realm here. Shattered Realm 90. So you can kind of get a feel for it. And this time, let's go ahead and chuck these out. Also going to chuck these out. And I'm just going to clear up the hotbars. Just to put it to how I like to play it. Whereas Amatok, there we go, that can be cleared. And then we have Pneumatic Burst. There we go. Oh, and Ring of Steel. Ring of Steel should be freezing things as well from memory, so that's probably my bad. And of course the character has died. And had all of the Waystones. So let's just go get the Waystones. We'll chuck them into shared stash there. And let's try it again. Now I have done Shattered Realm 90 previously on this character. So I do know that this character can do it. But let's see if we can't show it. And even if it does die, it'll give you a rough idea of what the difference is. And you'll be able to see the health is not yo-yoing quite so much. We've got a bit more physical resist as well. Eternal, let's go ahead, 90th shard. Okay. Let's jump on in here. Now, I didn't try any of the Nemesis with the other character, so maybe we don't get Nemesis, and that's fine. But things are dying a little bit quicker. The health bar is actually yo-yoing a decent bit more. And we are sundered as well. Oh, it's Iron Maiden. That would explain why we're getting our Tukas kick. But Iron Maiden is going down here. There he goes. I am very sure that I would have struggled to do that with my good friend Yesent. Maybe I could have done it. I don't know, I haven't fought him with it. But you can kind of see, this feels a lot safer. There is a little bit of health yo-yoing, but nowhere near what I was getting with Yesent. So, let's just get through this shard. I'll see if I can get to the boss shard and just clear it out. Now, like I mentioned, I'm a horrible pilot. I am an absolute baboon. I will stand in stuff and just hold left click. And it seems to be holding up okay. Now, I'm hitting... Ooh, this is a nice pack. I'm hitting buttons pretty much as they light up in terms of Pneumatic Burst, getting that heal. This one, I'm actually not sure how this works. I usually just pick any random 3 things, bash them, and then run down here and fight the big guy with the star above his head, or the skull. I'm actually not sure exactly how that works, but anyway. Shattered Shaper Hinasis. Let's go ahead and kill him. He did something with the Sunder. I guess we dodged it. Anyway, shard complete. Go ahead and keep killing things here. Do we have a Nemesis? Not within easy range. We can maybe... There's one. Who's that? Who is that? Gravathul. Forget I'm in combat. Should probably, probably actually fight these things. Okay, let's get Gravathul over here. We're just going to avoid the Sunder. And I may die here fighting this guy, but you know what? We will see. Dodge the wing flap again, that's a Sunder. And we're not going to get hit by that, at least not willingly. I think I am definitely standing in something that I shouldn't be. But anyway, Gravathul's going down. There's the Celestial Shard. And you get the idea. I'll finish this out, but the boss room here. This is quite clearly a decent bit more powerful. So we get Shah Zal, the Scion of Yugal. We got Kai-San, okay, he'll be fun. Kubacabra, the Endless Menace, and that, yeah, that's Moosey. Alright, we'll leave Moosey till last, because I kind of expect him to kill this character, but we will see. Alright, here we go. So this is Shah-Zal, the scion of Ugol. This is not a campaign boss, although it is based on one. Okay, Shah-Zal is down. Who's next? We got Kai-san. Alright, awesome. I got sundered because, like I said, I play like a baboon. But at least so far, haven't been punished for being sundered right in front of the nemesis. So, let's at least pretend we can dodge stuff, shall we? The downside of getting out of melee range, obviously, is if you're not in melee hitting things, you're not leeching. Next up is going to be Kuba. Let's get him over here. And let's just see kind of how he goes. So that little breath attack kind of hurt. Maybe we have to get him out of the bleed pools. The damage is definitely low enough here that he's putting a hurt on us for sure. Alright, let's maybe start using that button number 3 occasionally. Alright, he is going down. As soon as he dies, I need to get out of the bleed pools. There he goes. Alright, and Musi, I kind of expect him to die to this. If this was a hardcore character, I would just leave at this point. Actually, I would have left as soon as I came in and saw Musi there. But let's give it a shot. See if we can kill his friends first. Where does friends go? Alright, I guess they timed out. Anyway, see what happens. Yo-yoing a decent bit there. He is taking damage though, which is nice. We are also taking damage. Alright, it's time to back off a little bit here. I did mention that I was fully expecting this to die to Musi here. Granted, playing like a baboon doesn't help. Anyway, looks like we did it. So there we go. Shattered Realm 90 complete. While playing like a baboon, as opposed to dying in the first chunk to not even a nemesis. So that's the sort of difference you can expect between a fully minimum rolled character in the form of Yesent and this character, which I shouldn't have clicked that. I don't want to do this next one. We're just going to leave. I was going to show the loot room anyway. That's the difference between a minimum roll character and a high roll character. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and goodbye for now.